Chapter 181.
One had to admit that virtual reality was extremely realistic. There was only a small change to Gentle Snow's expression, yet, Zhao Yueru immediately discovered it.
Snow, what's wrong?
Zhao Yueru worriedly asked.
It was the first time she had seen such a surprised look on Gentle Snow. Although it was indeed unexpected that the group of noobs had become the level 10 players, it shouldn't be that much of a surprise to Gentle Snow. It's nothing. I just thought of some matters. That's all. Gentle Snow waved her hand, dismissing Zhao Yueru's concern.
Gentle Snow paid no attention to Cola and the others who entered White River City, nor did she care that they had taken the top 6 spots on the ranking list.
What she was truly concerned about were Shi Feng and his friends' levels. If it were really as she imagined, becoming friends with Shi Feng was a very wise decision. Elsewhere, when Unstable Devastation and Fire Dance's past companions saw the ranking list, they were all dumbfounded. This was especially true for Fire Dance's past companions.
Not only had Fire Dance reached level 10, but Water Buffalo had also risen to level 10. As a result, envy and regret ate at their hearts. If they had chosen to follow Fire Dance and join Shi Feng's team, they would be their team members right now. They enjoyed the envy and admiration of all players throughout the White River City region, a situation that many dreamt of experiencing.
Unfortunately, they were no longer related to this matter.
As they looked at the ranking list, they tried to contact Fire Dance and Water Buffalo. They all tried to apologize, and they wished that they could mend and recover their past relationships. After all, this was only a game. There was no need to be so serious, and they had only been joking.
Meanwhile, Fire Dance and Water Buffalo had received their calls. However, they merely gave a single reply. There is no point crying over spilled milk. I do not wish to stay in touch in the future. Did they think that pushing off their actions as a joke would resolve everything? Now, that really was a joke.
Fire Dance's and Water Buffalo's words had unquestionably shattered their final hopes, sending them spiraling into a sea of endless regrets. As for Unstable Devastation, envy nearly drove him mad. He clearly remembered that his team had killed Cola's group of 3 once before, their levels dropping to level 7.
When they met in Red Leaf Town's fountain, they were still level 7.
On the other hand, Unstable Devastation's level had dropped to level 8 after dying once. During these past several hours, he had frantically grinded monsters and was about to reach level 9. Yet, Cola's group had all reached level 10 during this same period.
Just what sort of leveling speed was this?
At first, it was Shi Feng who had reached level 10.
Now, even Cola and the others had risen to level 10. There was definitely something fishy about this.
There must be some sort of method that allowed them to reach level 10 quickly.
Shi Feng obviously knew this method. It might even be some gigantic bug in the game.
However, Unstable Devastation could do nothing against Shi Feng. He had no way to force this secret out of Shi Feng. Suddenly, an idea popped up in Unstable Devastation's head. If he published this matter on the official forums, revealing this bug, the system might punish Shi Feng for exploiting it. On the other hand, if it were not a bug, the other guilds would definitely not let go of this great chance to rise to level 10 swiftly. They would force Shi Feng to reveal this leveling method. If Shi Feng kept his lips sealed, he would make enemies out of every guild in the White River City region. Meanwhile, if he revealed this leveling method and the system fixed it, it would similarly enrage the various guilds. Regardless what Shi Feng did, he could no longer continue mingling in the White River City region. However, Unstable Devastation could not allow Shi Feng to take any of these actions yet. Yi Feng, no man is wise all the time. I have finally grasped a hold of your weakness. Unstable Devastation grew excited. As long as he used this move to threaten Shi Feng would obediently hand over the secret. Immediately after, Unstable Devastation sent Shi Feng a communication request. The first time, Shi Feng did not pick up.
The second time, Shi Feng did not pick up. Unstable Devastation made more than 10 consecutive calls to Shi Feng. However, Shi Feng did not answer any of them. As a result, Unstable Devastation nearly vomited blood in anger. However, when he thought of his beautiful future, he endured. Finally, after sending over 40 communication requests, the call finally connected.
"You're annoying. Can't you learn your lesson after so many rejections? Are you a pig? Must I give you a scolding before you are satisfied?
I don't have anything to say to you.
Go, play around wherever you want, and don't come bothering me."
Shi Feng immediately started cursing the moment he picked up the call.
Originally, he had been conducting business with Aqua Rose, in a good mood. However, one after another, Unstable Devastation's calls endlessly pestered him, interrupting Shi Feng's good mood. At first, Shi Feng thought that Unstable Devastation would give up after a few rejections. However, Shi Feng never thought that there would be no end to the disturbances. Hence, after telling Aqua Rose that he had some matters he needed to attend to for a moment, he looked for a place without people and gave Unstable Devastation a good scolding, soothing his mood. He then placed Unstable Devastation on his blacklist, preventing Unstable Devastation to further annoying him. "Yi Feng, you dare to cut my call." After making over 40 calls, Unstable Devastation burned with anger. Now that Shi Feng had insulted him, his blood boiled and his face turned crimson.
The blood vessels in his face had nearly burst.
However, just when he was about to curse at Shi Feng, the call disconnected. This thoroughly enraged Unstable Devastation, and immediately, he called Shi Feng again. However, this time, his calls did not even ring.
He was on Shi Feng's blacklist. Unstable Devastation nearly fainted in anger.
He had wasted so much time trying to call Shi Feng, yet, the only thing he got in return was a scolding.
Shi Feng had even blacklisted him.
How was he supposed to threaten Shi Feng now? How was he going to force Shi Feng's obedience?
Unstable Devastation immediately directed one of his subordinates to contact Shi Feng.
After attempting to contact Shi Feng a few more times, the call finally connected.
Unstable Devastation's subordinate then pressed the multi-party button that allowed others to participate in the conversation.
"Who are you?"
Shi Feng asked. "Yi Feng, you finally picked up. I have in my hands your speed-leveling secret. If you don't wish to become an enemy of the entire White River City region, obey my wishes. Otherwise, I'll post the evidence on the official forums. I'm thinking that many guilds would be interested in your teammates' leveling secret, and they will go all out to deal with you."
This time, Unstable Devastation spoke his piece quickly, fearing that Shi Feng would hang up on him again. I asked, "Who are you?
What's the point of all this nonsense?
Are you a pig?" Shi Feng demanded. "You're the pig. Everyone in your whole family is a pig."
I am Unstable Devastation.
I know that you have some secret to your team's leveling speed.
You need to understand the situation you're in right now.
If you dare continue to speak to me with such a tone, I'll release this secret of yours to everyone else.
All the players in the entire White River City region will start trouble, and the various large guilds will hunt you down to learn your secret. When that happens, there will no longer be any place for you in God's domain. Unstable Devastation hated being called an idiot.
Now that Shi Feng had repeatedly called him a pig, he could no longer endure it.
"So, you really are a pig?
Hello, pig.
Goodbye, pig." Shi Feng immediately disconnected the call, blacklisting the new character ID as well.
Shi Feng had never been a person to feel threatened by others, and regarding Unstable Devastation's threat, he paid no mind to it at all. The only reason he did not let Blackie and Lonely Snow reveal themselves was to avoid unnecessary trouble from those various large guilds, as that would delay their development. However, if there really were a need for a battle, he would not shrink from it.
In fact, they could all bring it on if they wanted.
The final winner and loser had yet to be determined. Master Black Flame, it looks like you have met with some trouble. As an ally of yours, why don't you let Twilight Echo deal with it for you? The graceful Aqua Rose suddenly walked over, smiling at Shi Feng as she offered her assistance.
Chapter 182.
As Shi Feng's call had been set to private, outsiders could not listen in on his conversation with unstable devastation. However, although Aqua Rose could not hear what Shi Feng said, she could clearly feel the killing intent radiating off of his body. To become friends with Shi Feng, deepening their relationship, Aqua Rose would not let this chance pass her by. Thus, she made her offer.
Shi Feng understood Aqua Rose's intentions.
He simply smiled at her and said, "Thank you for your concern, Miss Aqua. It isn't anything big, only an annoying fly that I can kill with a slap at any time."
We should continue with our business talks.
At Shi Feng's immediate rejection, Aqua Rose could do nothing but relent. After which, the two returned to their private room in the restaurant. At this moment, however, another male youth had appeared in the private room. This person was a knight geared with heavy armor. Based on his appearance, this man was obviously a shield warrior. A bone shield hung at his back, coupled with an exquisite, black-colored battle axe. These two pieces of equipment looked extraordinary, and one could easily tell that they were secret silver rank.
Moreover, this man was similar to Aqua Rose, in which they were both level 9.
"Why are you here, Brilliant?"
Aqua Rose asked, surprised at his sudden appearance. "I only worry that others will try to scam you, so I came to check up on you. Last time, you spent tens of millions of credits and returned with only a pile of worthless scrap paper. This incident invoked many elders' dissatisfaction. This time, you spent another large sum of money and manpower to purchase various ores and materials. Moreover, you didn't even notify the elders about any of your actions. They are furious right now.
I'm here to tell you that, at the very least, you need their approvals in the future before you take action.
Come back with me and offer them an explanation for now. Otherwise, those elders will make your life difficult in the future."
The man named Brilliant War God shot Shi Feng a glare.
He had always treated Aqua Rose as his own woman.
Meanwhile, the black-hooded Shi Feng before him was a small character, beneath his notice.
Yet, this small character actually dared to have a tryst with Aqua Rose.
Immediately, Brilliant War God tugged on Aqua Rose's hand, intending to take her from this place.
Shi Feng merely shrugged at Brilliant War God's provocation. He did not mind this man with the IQ of a monkey in the least. He simply took it as watching a monkey show. Aqua Rose slapped away Brilliant War God's hand, her crescent eyebrows wrinkling slightly. She had only managed to secure her relationship with Shi Feng after much difficulty and was just about to enter a proper business discussion. She did not expect Brilliant War God to find out about it and actually came running to interrupt her. If it weren't for her and Brilliant War God's families having friendly ties, she would not pay him any attention. "Brilliant, I have important matters to discuss. Return by yourself for now. As for the matter of the guild elders, I'll give them an explanation when I return," Aqua Rose said impatiently. For her trades with Shi Feng, she always used her own money and people. The guild elders had no right to interfere, nor did they have the ability. Not to mention, she was an honorary elder of the guild, so her station was similar to theirs. They had no right to involve themselves in her matters. They were merely envious that she had earned a lot of money, and they all wanted a share of the pie. Seeing Aqua Rose's attitude, Brilliant War God could only give up his efforts. "Since you don't wish to go, I'll stay by your side to protect you. It'll destroy others' ideas of taking advantage of you." Brilliant War God glanced at Shi Feng, his tone filled with ill intent as he spoke. Aqua Rose became furious at his words. She and Shi Feng were going to discuss extremely confidential trade secrets. How could she allow Brilliant War God to listen in? "No, you should return," Aqua Rose spoke, her tone frosty. Hearing Aqua Rose, Brilliant War God grew even more indignant. He sent a wrathful glare at Shi Feng, sending a message to Shi Feng secretly. I am an elder of Twilight Echo.
Brat, you better know your place and scram.
Aqua is my plaything, so you are not allowed to contact her again.
You should know the consequences if I discover that you've done otherwise. Brilliant War God was usually a tyrant of a man, and nobody dared defy him due to his identity. Whenever he met with a situation, he simply needed to announce his identity, and others would immediately flee with their tails between their legs. Now that he had spoken, Shi Feng would be no exception to this. After Shi Feng saw this message, he involuntarily laughed. It seemed that this brilliant war god had arrived to cause trouble without understanding the situation. Saying that he had the IQ of a monkey gave him too much credit. His actual IQ might not even equal a dog's. With such a wealthy prince in the guild, it was no wonder Twilight Echo could not develop itself in the early stages of the game.
It was actually due to the presence of this fool. Miss Aqua, I have something that I'd like you to see, Shi Feng smiled. Aqua Rose grew very curious. Just what did Shi Feng have to show her this time? Since Brilliant War God dared threaten Shi Feng in such a way, Shi Feng would act in kind. He forwarded Brilliant War God's message to Aqua Rose. Shi Feng wanted this fool to know that one should be careful with their words and messages. Otherwise, accidents could occur. Brilliant War God! Get out of my sight immediately. I don't wish to see you ever again. I will definitely tell Uncle and Auntie about this matter. Regarding the marriage affairs between our two families, don't even think about it from this moment onwards. Aqua Rose's complexion was instantly livid the moment she read the message. She already disliked Brilliant War God. Now, not to mention publicly trying to drive Shi Feng away, he even dared call her his plaything. Brilliant War God was confused. Before he could even wonder why Aqua Rose wanted to sever their relationship, she had already kicked him from the private room. I'm sorry that you had to see such a joke, Aqua Rose apologized. It's nothing. I'm used to such matters. Not minding matters at all, Shi Feng said, let's continue discussing about our trade, then. At this moment, Brilliant War God started loudly cursing outside the door, saying, Black Flame, you despicable little man. You actually dare frame me. Get out here right now if you have the ability. I challenge you to a duel. The loser clears their level back to 0. Do you dare accept it? What? You can frame me, but can't accept my challenge? Just as Shi Feng and Aqua Rose were about to resume their business talks, Brilliant War God finally came to a realization. It turned out that Shi Feng had forwarded his message to Aqua Rose. He really did not think that such an incident would occur. His past actions, which had never failed him, were actually useless against Shi Feng. However, to redeem himself, he could only insist that Shi Feng had framed him. Master Black Flame, I am truly sorry about this. I'll chase him away immediately. This was the first time Aqua Rose had realized that Brilliant War God was so obnoxious. His IQ was even in the negatives. With the existence of the main god system, how could players possibly modify others' messages and IDs? No need. I have my own faults in this matter, so let me deal with it. Shi Feng rose from his seat, walking out of the private room. Black Flame, you despicable little man, you finally dare to show yourself. If you are a man, accept my challenge. If you lose, you will explain to Aqua Rose that you framed me. Do you dare accept? Brilliant War God jeered. What if you lose? Shi Feng laughed. Ha ha ha! Can I even lose? Brilliant War God was incomparably arrogant. He took out a map, saying disdainfully, if you really are lucky enough to win, this item will be yours to keep. I only obtained this map after I organized a team of hundreds of elites to kill a wild level 10 Lord-ranked boss. This was the only item it dropped. Initially, Shi Feng had little to no interest in the map Brilliant War God held. After all, he had a clear understanding of God's domain. If it were a map obtained in some other country, it held no meaning to him at all. However, the moment Shi Feng spotted the symbol of an ash blade on the back of the map,
It instantly roused his interest.
The ash blade was the mark of the God Slayer. Normally, only items related to the God Slayer bear such mark. Master Black Flame, you can't agree to him. He is a shield warrior, so he has a massive innate advantage when dealing with physical type classes. Moreover, the diamond guard he wears is a level 9 mysterious iron set equipment.
His weapon and shield are also level 9 mysterious iron ranked items, and he has over 1400 HP.
Moreover, Brilliant War God has powerful techniques, himself. Even 2 to 3 physical type class experts attacking together wouldn't be his match. Aqua Rose hurriedly stopped Shi Feng. It was simply a farce for a swordsman to duel a shield warrior. Moreover, Black Flame was only a forger. His battle prowess was subpar at best.
What? Afraid?
Brilliant War God jeered as he glared at Shi Feng. Alright, I'll agree, Shi Feng smiled. Chapter 183.
What did you say?
Brilliant War God was stunned. Of course, I accept your challenge, Shi Feng smiled.
After Shi Feng's reaffirmation, Brilliant War God knew that he did not hear wrong. Originally, he had thought that Shi Feng would immediately reject his challenge after learning how fearsome he was. He had even been in the midst of thinking of a way to provoke or anger Shi Feng into accepting his challenge.
However, it would seem that he had simply been wasting his time.
He had actually met a fool with mental issues.
Aqua Rose had explained to Shi Feng how amazing he was, yet this person still happily agreed. However, this situation was fine as well. It would save him plenty of trouble. I didn't think that you would have the guts. Since you've accepted, let's take this outside.
Rest assured, I'll give you a quick and painless death, and I won't embarrass you too much.
Ha ha ha. Saying so, Brilliant War God laughed as he headed towards the restaurant's exit. Master Black Flame, you really shouldn't agree to him. Although he usually bullies others with his authority, his strength ranks within the top 5 amongst all the shield warriors in Echo Twilight. Moreover, the Diamond Guard set equipment he just obtained is mysterious iron rank, while his giant bear war axe is secret silver rank. On the other hand, you are a swordsman. You also focus on your subclass as a forger.
Dueling him would only be a farce, Aqua Rose said worriedly as she walked over to Shi Feng.
Aqua Rose had a clear understanding of Brilliant War God's strength. If he had the chance, he would humiliate Shi Feng in every way possible to take revenge for the previous incident. If Shi Feng were humiliated, how could she continue her cooperation with Shi Feng? She had already spent so much effort and purchased so many forging materials. Originally, she could have earned a big sum of money by cooperating with Shi Feng. Now, however, Brilliant War God ruined it all. She wished that she could chop Brilliant War God into pieces right this instant. Miss Aqua, thank you for informing me of this.
I already understand the situation, Shi Feng thanked.
It's good that you understand, Aqua Rose sighed in relief when she heard Shi Feng.
Now, everything would be fine as long as she drove Brilliant War God away.
Originally, Aqua Rose wanted to say, let me deal with this matter, then.
However, Shi Feng interrupted her, saying, you can rest assured that I will settle this battle very quickly. Finished speaking, Shi Feng exited the restaurant as well, leaving behind a dazed Aqua Rose. After wasting her breath for so long, it turned out that Shi Feng did not understand her at all.
On the contrary, he even headed to the duel with confidence. Aqua Rose started to suspect that she had misspoken, causing Shi Feng to think that Brilliant War God was extremely weak. In a city, duels could normally be conducted on the streets.
However, both parties must agree to the rules and conditions before the duel could occur.
Otherwise, it was only an attack, and the guards would personally kill and jail the player initiating the attack. The moment Shi Feng set foot out of the restaurant, Brilliant War God sent the duel challenge. Moreover, the rewards and punishments were already set, and only Shi Feng's agreement was necessary to start the duel officially.
As the rules were absolute, once both sides agreed to them, there was no escaping the rewards or punishments.
Even if players were unwilling to hand over the items gambled, the system would still automatically transfer the items to the winner. The loser would similarly receive the punishment agreed upon before the duel. Shi Feng couldn't help but admit that Brilliant War God had a truly cruel heart.
The condition set for the loser was an immediate drop to level 0, destroying their leveling efforts over the past several days.
The loser would also have a huge level gap with the majority of the current players. It would be extremely difficult for the loser to catch up.
If there are no problems, click the Agree button. Brilliant War God smiled coldly.
Shi Feng gave the conditions a general glance.
After confirming that there were no problems, he clicked Agree.
Let's start this meaningless battle, then.
Immediately after Shi Feng clicked Agree, gigantic numbers appeared floating in mid-air.
It was the 10-second countdown timer for the start of the duel, and players were given this time to prepare for the upcoming battle. Ha ha ha! Little brat, although this duel will be extremely boring, since you've dared slander me in front of Aqua Rose, this young master will make things a little more fun.
I'll let you know what the difference in strength truly is and how it feels to painfully struggle. Brilliant War God retrieved his shield and one-handed axe from his back, his face revealing a sinister smile. He looked just like a hungry wolf hunting its prey, and a red glint flashed in his eyes as he glared at Shi Feng.
Only at this moment did Aqua Rose exit the restaurant. Looking at Brilliant War God's appearance, her expression immediately sank. I'm finished. Aqua Rose already despaired.
Not mentioning the fact that Shi Feng would definitely lose, Brilliant War God's current condition was extremely dangerous. There might even be the possibility that he would drive Shi Feng insane, trapping Shi Feng in fear for a long time.
Brilliant War God would very rarely display such an ability.
The last time Aqua Rose saw Brilliant War God in such a condition, countless corpses littered around his feet. He had massacred a small guild with several hundreds of players.
She did not think that Brilliant War God would fall into this madness today. Brilliant War God was extremely arrogant in his usual battles, and he would laugh madly as he fought. Only when he entered an extremely incited condition would he occasionally reveal such a sinister and cruel appearance. During such times, Brilliant War God was a lunatic, filled with unruliness. His battle prowess would also increase by several folds. In such a state, Brilliant War God was a truly bloodthirsty berserker. If even the normal Brilliant War God ranked within the top 5 shield warriors in Twilight Echo, it was uncertain where the current Brilliant War God might rank. It was possible that even the number 1 ranking shield warrior in Twilight Echo, Lonely Leaf, might not be a match for him. Very quickly, the 10-second preparation time ended. Little brat, I'll first cripple all 4 of your limbs. I'll turn you into a crawling worm, then toy with you slowly. Brilliant War God lifted his bone shield while his other hand wielded the giant bear war axe. His face revealed a sinister smile as he charged at Shi Feng. Brilliant War God's current appearance did not resemble anything human. Instead, he looked more like a lunatic possessed by a demon. After entering this crazed state, Brilliant War God became extraordinarily fast and nimble. He charged Shi Feng head-on. However, when Shi Feng sent a sword stabbing at him, Shi Feng's sword merely penetrated the afterimage left behind by Brilliant War God. I'll first cripple your right arm. Brilliant War God suddenly appeared at Shi Feng's right, his giant bear war axe abruptly descending and slashing at Shi Feng's right arm. By the side, Aqua Rose's complexion turned terrifyingly pale. After seeing Shi Feng taking action, she immediately knew that Shi Feng was not strong at all, just as she had expected. However, it was an ordinary situation after all. To become Star Moon Kingdom's #1 forger, Shi Feng must have spent a lot of his effort on forging. Where would he find the time to increase his battle techniques? Even if Shi Feng were an expert in some other virtual reality game, it would not be the same in God's domain. After entering God's domain,
Even the experts of other virtual reality games would only be slightly stronger than others.
A lot of time was necessary to sharpen oneself in God's domain, and one needed to constantly battle monsters to improve.
However, Shi Feng clearly did not possess that much time.
Brilliant War God would torture Shi Feng here and now. He would fall into mental derangement for a long period. Even if he did not go crazy, he would be in a daze for a long time.
How was she supposed to continue their trade with Shi Feng in such a state? It seems that I can only wait longer, Aqua Rose said helplessly as she looked at the right arm Brilliant War God targeted.
Surprisingly, however, Shi Feng did not scream in pain. Chapter 184.
At this moment, Brilliant War God's giant bear war axe left a deep red streak across Shi Feng's arm.
In God's domain, although players would not receive high damages when their limbs were attacked, they would feel a faint numbing feeling in their limbs. Moreover, the numbing effect lasted for quite some time.
During this time, players' reactions would slow down, affecting their battle conditions and slightly reducing their battle prowess. However, players would rarely attack limbs when they PK'd others, as there was no meaning to such an action.
Compared to attacking the limbs,
the body was a much easier target.
After all, it was much easier to defend against an attack aimed at the limbs. Moreover, the limbs were much more nimble than the body, making them harder to hit. Most importantly, however, attacking vital points on the body would cause much more damage. Normally, only when experts PK'd new players, would experts use such an attack method to toy with the new players.
Right now, Brilliant War God clearly intended to toy with Shi Feng. However, although Shi Feng had been hurt, he did not scream in pain as expected.
This utterly surprised Aqua Rose. Shi Feng was, after all, only a forger. In God's domain, he would be the equivalent of a civilian worker, and his pain tolerance would be very low. Even if he were a battle veteran of God's domain, his face would at least twitch, and he would suck in a light breath when he received an attack.
No matter how she looked at it, with Shi Feng's subclass as a forger, he should at least make a sound as he was hit.
Was it possible that Shi Feng had turned off his pain perception completely?
Normally, experts would maintain their pain perception at 30%, and only the newcomers and noobs would turn it off as they could not endure the pain. However, a majority of the players in God's domain would maintain it around 20%. No matter how one looked at Shi Feng, he was by no means a newcomer or a noob, so it was impossible that he would turn off his pain perception completely. Yet, his arm sustained the hit just now, but not the slightest hint of pain showed on his face.
On the contrary, a smile filled his face right now. This was simply too abnormal.
However, Brilliant War God paid no mind to these matters.
Although he felt that something was missing, such as the screams of pain, that would not deter his continued attacks on Shi Feng.
Axe swing after axe swing landed on Shi Feng's four limbs, and after a full 5 seconds, Brilliant War God nearly roared with excitement from his ceaseless attacking. Meanwhile, Aqua Rose's shock grew as she stood a distance away and watched the scene before her. Black Flame, which location's god are you? However, she was not shocked due to how precise Brilliant War God's crazy attacks were. Instead, she was shocked by the HP bar above Shi Feng. Brilliant War God's frantic attacks barely reduced Shi Feng's HP. As of this moment, Shi Feng had only lost 10% of his total HP.
On the contrary, after 5 seconds passed, Shi Feng's HP once again rose to 95%. The most shocking thing to Aqua Rose was how little damage Brilliant War God inflicted on Shi Feng. Although Brilliant War God was a shield warrior, and his damage was much less than a berserker with the same standards, at the end of the day, Brilliant War God still wore a set of level 9 mysterious iron set equipment. He also wielded the secret silver rank giant bear war axe, so his attack power was no less than a normal level 9 berserker. Even though Brilliant War God did not use any skills, his normal attacks failed to cause over -15 damage with each strike. Wasn't Shi Feng's defense a little too frightening?
Why do you still have so much HP?
Brilliant War God, who had attacked all this time,
suddenly stilled his hands. He had wanted to see Shi Feng's suffering expression, yet, he was immediately shocked to discover that Shi Feng did not lose much HP at all. He then looked at his damage log, discovering a series of damages that was only around -10. You have keen reactions, precise attacks, good battle techniques, above-average standards, and you're capable of activating extraordinary condition. It's as expected of Twilight Echo's 5th-ranking Shield Warrior. Shi Feng made a general deduction of Brilliant War God standards. He then said with a smile, "Since you're done attacking, it should be my turn now." Shi Feng was currently level 14 while Brilliant War God was only level 9. In God's domain, if players and monsters had a level gap of 3 levels, then due to the level suppression, players would have their damage reduced by around 50%. Meanwhile, in a situation where both sides consisted of players, the party with the lower level would have their damage reduced by 65%. If the gap grew to 5 levels, then there would be an 80% damage reduction. For 10 levels and above, the damage reduction was 95% and above. In addition, Shi Feng currently wore the Silvermoon set equipment, so his defense was very high, to begin with. After he had risen to level 14, his endurance attribute increased just beyond 80 points, activating the hidden passive skill for endurance, basic body strengthening. With this passive skill, all attacks causing less than 50 damage were greatly weakened, his battle recovery rate would slightly increase, and his stamina recovery would slightly improve as well. Due to the damage Brilliant War God caused him being extremely low, his battle recovery could replenish most of his lost HP in one shot. This was the specialty of virtual reality games. Due to the gap in levels and attributes, the disparity in strength was worlds apart. Brilliant War God was obviously unaware of this. "Stop bluffing. You're merely a blockhead with high defense. Watch how I'll get rid of you and send you back to level 0. Regret becoming my enemy." Brilliant War God did not and would not believe that Shi Feng could retaliate. He raised his giant bear war axe, sending a fierce slash towards Shi Feng's chest. Brilliant War God no longer fooled around. He wanted to get rid of Shi Feng instantly like a fierce gale, so he coupled his attack with a skill. However, standing at a distance, Aqua Rose did not think that Shi Feng bluffed at all. Since the start of the battle, Shi Feng had waved his sword only once, then stood without moving, allowing Brilliant War God to attack him for an entire 5 seconds continuously. 5 seconds. Even the weakest players could attack or defend many times within this amount of time. Yet, Shi Feng chose to do nothing at all. The moment Brilliant War God's giant bear axe passed through Shi Feng's body, Brilliant War God involuntarily revealed a cold smile. His belief that Shi Feng only bluffed was reaffirmed. Afterimage. Brilliant War God immediately noticed that sensation of his axe passing through Shi Feng felt odd. At this moment, he realized that the Shi Feng before him was simply an afterimage. He then spun, searching for Shi Feng's position. At this moment, Shi Feng had already arrived at Brilliant War God's back. His movements were silent as if he did not exist at all. Shi Feng's right hand twitched, and the abyssal blade lightly pierced through Brilliant War God's back. A hole appeared in the hard armor that Brilliant War God wore, and the shield warrior instantly felt his heart cool to freezing temperatures. Brilliant War God felt an immense pain in his chest. Since when had a young master like himself experienced such a degree of pain? Immediately, he released an agonizing scream as a damage of over -300 appeared above his head. With a single hit, Brilliant War God lost over a fifth of his total HP. Such speed and attack power. Aqua Rose had distinctly witnessed it from a distance, and her shock-filled eyes involuntarily blinked as a result. She did not think that Shi Feng, as a forger, would actually be so amazing in battle. His attack power was simply inhumane. Because of the equipment he possessed, Brilliant War God's defense was frightening. Yet, Shi Feng's normal attack dealt over -300 damage to the warrior. Between the two of them, be it defense or attack power, Brilliant War God was far from Shi Feng's equal. The disparity in strength was clear for all to behold. The two of them were on completely different levels.
It was simply unbelievable. Even with Brilliant War God standards, there was still an evident gap in strength between him and Shi Feng.
This fight had completely renewed Aqua Rose's recognition of God's domain. After stabbing Brilliant War God once, Shi Feng did not give Brilliant War God any chances. He once again waved the abyssal blade, sending a chop at Brilliant War God's body. Shi Feng landed a triple damage critical attack, causing over -2,400 damage and instantly killing Brilliant War God.
Chapter 185. Shi Feng pulled back his sword, sliding it back into its scabbard.
Immediately after, an agonizing wail resounded throughout the streets. Brilliant War God stared Shi Feng with eyes filled with poisonous hatred. However, there was also a thread of fear hidden within that hatred. After all, Shi Feng had only used a single swordsman skill, chop, to kill him instantly. Brilliant War God's past confidence and arrogance had, at this moment, shattered.
He quietly watched as his HP frantically decreased, and in the blink of an eye, he only had 1 HP remaining.
Brilliant War God fell to his knees, his eyes filled with shock and fear. As this was only a duel, Brilliant War God could escape death this time. However, as Brilliant War God regained some of his spirit, he finally understood Shi Feng's comment of this would be a boring battle. At that time, Brilliant War God had still thought that it was Shi Feng's arrogance, not knowing the immensity of heaven and earth.
In reality, however, no! Brilliant War God exclaimed as he noticed his levels swiftly decreasing.
In the blink of an eye, he had already fallen to level 0.
Although duels would not allow players to die, the punishment the losing party received would not be altered in the slightest. The sinister punishment Brilliant War God had previously set for Shi Feng had all come biting back at him. The system also transferred the map he gambled into Shi Feng's inventory. This time, not only had he dug his own grave, but he also bought his own coffin, suffering twice the loss. Miss Aqua, I'm done. Let's continue our talks. Shi Feng looked towards Aqua Rose with a smile as he spoke. Brilliant War God glared at Shi Feng with a malicious expression, his teeth gnashing. Immediately after Shi Feng turned his back on Brilliant War God, the shield warrior took out a Tier 1 magic scroll, using it on Shi Feng. Black Flame. Die. The Tier 1 magic scroll that Brilliant War God used was a flame-type spell called Flame Spear. The scroll contained a relatively strong, single-target, destructive spell. In any case, Brilliant War God had already fallen to level 0. He would not suffer a loss if the guards captured and jailed him. At worst, he would just have to delete his account and start all over again. It would be acceptable if he could kill Shi Feng and appease his hatred. Careful. Aqua Rose warned. Shi Feng did not expect Brilliant War God to be insane enough to dare attack him in the middle of Blackwing City. However, due to the short distance between them, it was too late by the time Shi Feng realized Brilliant War God's actions. The flame spear instantly struck Shi Feng's back, and Brilliant War God revealed a sinister smile as his attack landed. This flame spear was Brilliant War God's trump card. It was capable of causing up to 2,000 flame damage to a single target. Even if Shi Feng were amazing, he was a single swordsman. How high could his HP be? It would already be heaven-defying if he had 1,200 HP. With this 2,000 damage, Shi Feng would unquestionably die. After the raging flames dissipated, Shi Feng's HP madly fell. Ha ha ha! So what if you are amazing? Since you dared provoke this young master, only death awaits you. Brilliant War God laughed loudly as he watched Shi Feng's full HP trickle to 0. Brilliant War God,
You are too despicable."
With this action,
Aqua Rose finally saw through to Brilliant Wargod's true self.
she did not think that he would be such despicable filth without even the most basic self-respect.
Despicable? The victor becomes king, whereas the loser becomes a bandit. He can only blame himself for his own lack of skills.
Brilliant Wargod sneered as he spoke.
However, Brilliant Wargod's smile quickly faded the moment he discovered that Shi Feng's HP had stopped decreasing after reaching 20%.
Why?
Why aren't you dead?
Looking at Shi Feng standing there, Brilliant Wargod retreated several steps. His trembling finger pointed at Shi Feng as he panicked. "This, you don't need to know."
However, since you've dared take action here, I'm guessing that you're prepared to receive your punishment," Shi Feng softly said.
He chuckled as he clapped at the flames remaining on his body, extinguishing them.
The damage caused by the flame spear could indeed kill a level 14 player with one hit. However, Shi Feng was different.
He possessed 20 points of fire resistance.
He also had the basic body strengthening passive skill activated, which would somewhat increase some of the hidden magic resistance. In addition, Shi Feng currently had a maximum HP of 1,840 points, so a single flame spear was not enough to kill him. To put it another way, Tier 1 magic had no possibility of killing him with a single hit. At most, it would gravely injure him.
I am impossible.
Brilliant Wargod was completely dumbfounded by this scene. After all, that was the most powerful Tier 1 magic scroll he had in his possession. It can't be, right? Aqua Rose was similarly shocked.
Fire-type magic possessed the highest destructive force of all elemental magic.
Yet, Shi Feng had survived after taking a direct hit from a Tier 1 fire-type spell. Just what kind of defense did he possess?
Aqua Rose even started to suspect that Shi Feng was a shield warrior or a guardian knight in disguise.
However, even guardian knights possessing the highest magic resistance could not forcefully survive this move.
While the two suffered their shock, the Black Knights of Blackwing City had arrived. Compared to other towns and normal cities, Blackwing City's management was far more strict. The penalties it administered were even more unbearable.
Hence, in Shi Feng's previous life, no players dared cause a scene while in Blackwing City.
Any who did simply sought their own deaths.
Not to mention, Brilliant Wargod had actually dared attack Shi Feng, who possessed the status of a demon hunter. Hence, Shi Feng did not immediately take action against Brilliant Wargod.
In reality, he simply waited for the punishment Blackwing City would provide to Brilliant Wargod.
Brilliant Wargod, you have committed an offense against Blackwing City's laws.
Moreover, you attacked the Lord Demon Hunter. From now on, you will remain in jail in Blackwing City for 15 days. After your release, all your attributes would be decreased by 10% for a duration of 10 days, and the express you gain will decrease by 20%. The Black Knight captain walked up to Brilliant Wargod, stating his verdict. Hearing such a penalty, Aqua Rose sucked in a cold breath. This penalty was simply too heavy. Even if they locked Brilliant Wargod up for 15 days, as an Elder of Twilight Echo, there were other people available to help him level back up.
However, now that he was level 0, with the 15-day gap and 20% XP gain reduction, Brilliant Wargod would need to grind ceaselessly for over a month to catch up with the level of the majority of the players, not to mention catching up to the top-ranking players.
Ha ha ha! Black Flame, I admit that you are amazing.
However, from the moment I took action, I had already decided to delete my account and start all over again.
Did you really think I would fear the system punishment? Although Brilliant Wargod trembled slightly when he heard the penalty he was to receive, giving it another thought, he planned to delete and rebuild his account. What should he be afraid of? Is that so? Then, I look forward to you deleting and rebuilding your account. Shi Feng smiled faintly, not bothering to explain. Seeing Brilliant Wargod's confident smile, Shi Feng could not bear to shatter his fantasies.
Brilliant Wargod thought too lightly of God's domain. If a pig-brained person like Brilliant War God could think of such a method to escape punishment, the main god system would certainly have a solution. In Xi Feng's previous life, plenty of players had thought of God's domain as only a virtual reality game. They thought they could do whatever they wanted. There were even some players who had done unscrupulous and condemnable things towards female NPCs. After all, these players all thought they could simply avoid punishment by deleting and rebuilding their accounts from scratch.
However, the outcome spoke differently. Unless one no longer wanted to play God's domain, otherwise, any and all punishments would be meted out.
No matter how many times one deleted their accounts or changed their gaming helmets, the consequences were inescapable.
Although God's domain was a virtual reality game, it had its own bottom line as well. The rules of God's domain were the final bottom line.
Any and all who dared go past this bottom line would do well to prepare themselves for their punishments, no exceptions.
When Brilliant War God saw Xi Feng's smile, he suddenly felt uncertain about his decision.
However, when he gave it more thought, it was possible that Xi Feng just tried to frighten him. Immediately, Brilliant War God logged out of God's domain, preparing to delete and rebuild his account.
Meanwhile, Xi Feng no longer cared to pay any attention to this brainless princeling. He then opened his bag, examining the clue to the God Slayer that he had just obtained. There was no marked location on this map. There were also no written words to give an explanation.
If any other players were to obtain this map, they would have no clue of what to do with it. After all, they would not know the location displayed on the map, nor would they know how to look for it.
Moreover, the official site did not publish a world map for God's domain.
That explained Brilliant War God's ignorant generosity of wagering this map.
Fortunately, Xi Feng was extremely familiar with God's domain.
In Xi Feng's previous life, the various major guilds in God's domain made their own maps of God's domain, and Shadow was no exception. 10 years after God's domain started its operation, the world map that Shadow possessed was very thorough.
Meanwhile, familiarizing oneself with the world map was one of the basic requirements of a guild leader, including Xi Feng.
However, the map currently in Xi Feng's hands displayed very complicated terrain.
Only after racking his brain for some time did Xi Feng manage to recall a place with a similar terrain as shown on this map. It was the forbidden territory for humans, the ruined mountain range. Chapter 186.
Just as Xi Feng recognized the location shown on the map,
4 level 200 black guards appeared on Light Street, each wielding a black spear in their hands and walking towards Brilliant War God. They intended to take him away.
"Don't even think of catching me."
Brilliant War God immediately logged out of the game. However, an unbelievable situation occurred. One could describe this as an out-of-body experience. Like an empty shell, Brilliant War God's body suddenly fell to the ground, motionless.
However, the 4 black guards did not care much about this.
2 of the knights grabbed a hold of Brilliant War God's body from each side, dragging him away from Light Street. Soon after, the Black Knights also dispersed from the scene.
"Master Black Flame, what is going on here?"
Didn't Brilliant War God log off? Logically, his body should also have disappeared. Aqua Rose looked at Xi Feng, her shining eyes blinking as she asked. Although Aqua Rose did not know why she would ask Xi Feng, her instincts told her that Xi Feng might know the answer. If Xi Feng knew that Aqua Rose had asked him about this matter out of instinct, the fearsomeness of a woman's intuition would certainly surprise him. Hearing Aqua Rose's question, Xi Feng simply smiled and said, "It should be that the system doesn't allow players avoid punishment." Blackwing City's judgment was, without a doubt, the system's judgment. If Brilliant War God had properly received his punishment, he would only have to pay the smallest price. However, if Brilliant War God deleted and rebuilt his account, not to mention losing the money and equipment that he originally had, he would also lose all the reputation he had earned in God's domain. Reputation was not easy to gain. After all, many of the quests that rewarded players with reputation points were unique quests. So,
It is like that.
Aqua Rose understood the truth of the matter.
Otherwise, if everyone simply deleted and rebuilt their accounts the moment they did something nefarious, wouldn't that turn God's domain into a heaping mess?
However, along with the passing of time, player levels would become higher, while the chances of such matters occurring would decrease as well.
After all, players had dedicated a great amount of time and energy onto cultivating their God's domain accounts. There would be few people with the courage to start all over again. However, if players encountered a situation like Brilliant War Gods, a majority of them would choose to delete and rebuild. After all, it would be much faster to start all over again, and it could be a way to take advantage of the system.
Naturally, the main god system would not make such a mistake. Regarding the calamity that had befallen Brilliant War God, Aqua Rose did not display a hint of sympathy. On the contrary, she was very grateful for Shi Feng's significant help. Her and Brilliant War God's families had always been friendly with each other, and both families intended to increase and widen their wealth and influence through marriage. On the other hand, Aqua Rose had, from the very beginning, opposed this notion. She intended to create a legacy for herself, increasing her right of speech within her family to oppose this marriage. God's domain just so happened to have given her this very good chance. As long as she could further herself in God's domain, and adding in Brilliant War God's actions, she could easily vanquish the notion of marriage between the two families. After dealing with the matter of Brilliant War God, Shi Feng and Aqua Rose returned to the restaurant and resumed their business talks. Originally, Shi Feng wanted to investigate the God Slayer's whereabouts. However, he set it aside for now. In God's domain, the ruined mountain range was an absolutely forbidden place for humans. In Shi Feng's previous life, many players did not believe this fact. In the end, all who went there found only death. From then on, nobody dared casually enter the ruined mountain range. With Shi Feng's current strength, not to mention entering the ruined mountain range, even the path leading to the ruined mountain range presented an impossible challenge for Shi Feng. How would he reach the location marked on the map? The only choice he had right now was to increase his strength. When he had sufficient strength, he could then think of a way to go there. Master Black Flame. These are the various forging materials that you've requested. Due to limited bag space, I've only brought the rare and precious materials. This time, Master Black Flame has helped me a great deal, so I'll sell these to you at a lower price. You just need to pay me 43 gold coins for them. Aqua Rose displayed the transaction list, smiling as she spoke. The cost of purchasing all these materials came to a total of just over 37 gold. Originally, Aqua Rose intended to sell all these materials to Shi Feng for 50 gold. However, since Shi Feng had helped her out, she chose to earn a little less in this transaction. Initially, Aqua Rose had not possessed enough gold coins to purchase all these materials. However, she made a big profit from the glimmer chestplate forging designs, which she bought from Shi Feng last time. Not only had she earned over 100 gold coins, but she also earned back all the credits she used to purchase the forging designs. She still had quite a few glimmer chestplate forging designs remaining. If she sold all of them, she could still earn tens of gold coins and hundreds of thousands of credits. Even for an Apex first-rate guild like Twilight Echo, the entire guild's currently available fluid funds only amounted to 20 to 30 gold. Meanwhile, Aqua Rose had over 100 gold in her possession, invoking the guild's elders' jealousy. After having the first tastes of profit, Aqua Rose greatly anticipated the surprise Shi Feng was about to create. 43 gold? When Shi Feng looked at the transaction list, his heart skipped a beat. He had not expected Aqua Rose to be so capable. She had actually gathered so many materials. Taking a quick glance at the transaction list, the materials listed were all rare, required for forging mysterious iron and secret silver-ranked items. There were even some extremely rare fine gold-ranked materials. At this stage of the game, it was absolutely impossible for players to find any of these materials in Star Moon Kingdom.
Aqua Rose had also bought a large quantity of hard stones, as Shi Feng had specially requested a lot of them. Now, Aqua Rose had close to 1,000 stacks of hard stones for Shi Feng, completely filling up her ore bags. Shi Feng could not help but admit that the ore country was aptly named. Ore bags were different from normal bags. They were specifically made for storing forging materials. Hence, these bags had extremely large storage spaces, and each one was several times, some even several tens of times, larger than a normal bag. In Aqua Rose's case, aside from her main bag having 100 slots, her remaining 6 bags were all ore bags. Every one of her ore bags had 350 slots for items, and all 6 ore bags were currently filled to the brim. The country Aqua Rose came from did not lack ores. Hence, Aqua Rose only sold each stack of hard stones to Shi Feng at a price of 80 copper coins. Aqua Rose had probably purchased all of these hard stones at an even lower price. Compared to these sold in Star Moon Kingdom, the price of these hard stones was simply too cheap. Right now, each stack of hard stones sold for 3 silver coins. Just by selling these hard stones to other players, Shi Feng could make a profit of several times his cost. Moreover, those players would fight over these hard stones. However, even Shi Feng could not afford 43 gold in a single transaction. Fortunately, Shi Feng came prepared. He removed a pile of level 8 and level 9 bronze equipment and quite a lot of mysterious iron equipment from his bag. He had personally forged a majority of the equipment, while he had obtained the remainder from the Moonlight Forest. However, the most eye-catching equipment among was the level 10 secret silver-ranked one-handed swords, the Silver Dawns, that Shi Feng had crafted. Secret silver weapons, even to a first-rate guild, they were extremely rare. Normally, only the core upper echelons of the guild would possess 2 to 3 secret silver-ranked items, while the elites of the guild could not even dream of possessing one. In the blink of an eye, Shi Feng had filled the private room with equipment, dazzling the sight of all beholders. Making a general count, Shi Feng had over 500 pieces of equipment. Aqua Rose was instantly dumbfounded by this sight. Only after tens of seconds had passed did she gradually recover her spirit, and shock filled her eyes as she looked at Shi Feng. One could easily outfit a large elite team with this much equipment. Moreover, Shi Feng had forged the majority. Aqua Rose was greatly confused at how Shi Feng could forge so much equipment all by himself. After all, she had personally witnessed forgers create equipment before. The process could be summed up in one word: slow. These were all bronze and mysterious iron-ranked equipment. If one were not careful while forging them, the result would easily fail. So, the process of forging equipment of such quality was definitely much slower than that of common equipment. Since the last time Aqua Rose met with Shi Feng, only a little more than 3 days had passed. Even if Shi Feng continuously forged equipment without sleep or food during this period, it should still be impossible for him to forge this much equipment. Miss Aqua, I already brought the equipment. State a price, Shi Feng smiled. Aqua Rose immediately felt as if she had been cheated. Originally, she intended to make a big profit off of Shi Feng. However, with 500+ pieces of high-level equipment placed before her, even if she sold herself to Shi Feng, it still might not be enough. Chapter 187. The private room of the restaurant was very large. However, it was insufficient to contain all of the weapons and equipment that Shi Feng had taken out. The entire room was cramped with items right now. After counting for a long while, Aqua Rose finally had a firm grasp on the number of weapons and equipment that Shi Feng had brought. Among them, there were over 200 level 8 and above bronze weapons, over 300 pieces of level 8 and above bronze equipment, 70 level 9 and above mysterious iron weapons, 80 pieces of level 9 and above mysterious iron equipment, and 20 level 10 silver dawns. There was close to a total of 700 weapons and pieces of equipment. With this much equipment, Aqua Rose would have no problems gearing up even a 100-man team.
The attributes of the Silver Dons were especially frightening.
Compared to the giant bear war axe that brilliant war god had, the Silver Dawn's attributes were much stronger.
Twilight Echo had sacrificed many of their elite members to obtain Brilliant War God's level 9 giant bear war axe. After all, it was only a normal occurrence to lose over 20 elite players when dealing with a chieftain-ranked field boss. Chieftain-ranked field bosses were extremely rare in God's domain, and meeting one all depended on luck. Moreover, after meeting one, sacrifices were necessary to bring it down. This was the exchange of the lives of the guild's elites for equipment, and it was a huge loss to the guild. Yet, Shi Feng casually displayed 20 secret silver weapons. Aqua Rose no longer knew how to describe Shi Feng.
Despite having an immeasurably high strength, his standards as a forger were also at their apex, as Aqua Rose had yet to hear news of any player forging a secret silver-ranked item. Shi Feng's existence simply caused others despair. At the same time, Aqua Rose had finally come to an understanding of just how frightening a forger could be. If any guild could have a forger like Shi Feng, that guild would not have to worry about trying to obtain equipment. As long as they had the forging designs, they could have whatever equipment they wanted, and at any time they wanted it.
There would be no need for them to waste tremendous effort to kill bosses. Moreover, killing an extremely powerful boss would only yield several pieces of equipment. On the other hand, as long as a forger had the materials, they could create as many pieces of equipment as they wanted. It was much faster and more convenient.
"Miss Aqua, you look a little pale. Are you all right?"
Shi Feng looked at the dazed Aqua Rose, asking with concern.
"Me?" As Aqua Rose regained her senses, she involuntarily wiped the sweat from her forehead. "I'm fine. Why would I have any problems?"
Is it possible that Miss Aqua can't afford this many weapons and equipment?
If this is so, just pick as many as you can. Shi Feng could sympathize with Aqua Rose's situation. After all, even a first-rate guild could not buy up all this equipment in one go, not to mention Aqua Rose by herself.
Master Black Flame, I want all of these items.
However, can we carry out the transaction with credits?
Otherwise, if I give Master Black Flame all of my gold coins, I would starve. Aqua Rose smiled bitterly.
There were so many good items before her eyes, and it would be a sin not to gobble all of them up right now. What did the various large guilds lack the most?
The answer was obvious: high-level weapons and equipment.
Level 8 and above weapons and equipment just so happened to be what guilds lacked the most. Just a single piece of level 8 bronze equipment was worth well over 20 silvers on the market right now. Level 8 bronze weapons even sold for 30 silvers or more, while level 9 mysterious iron equipment was worth 50 silvers or more, and level 9 mysterious iron weapons sold for 80 silvers or more. As for the level 10 secret silver weapons, the Silver Dons, they were priceless treasures, and not a single person out there would willingly sell one. If a price were truly to be set, with the Silver Don's attributes, at the very least, it would sell for 2 gold coins or more.
20 Silver Dons would then equate 40 gold coins.
That was nearly half of all the game currency Aqua Rose owned.
Moreover, this was the lowest price for the Silver Don.
That's fine as well.
I'll just take these forging materials, in addition to 50 gold, to cover for a portion of the bill.
You can pay the remainder using credits, Shi Feng spoke after giving it some thought.
This. Aqua Rose hesitated for a long time.
In the end, however, she gnashed her teeth as she agreed, saying, "All right, I understand." Hearing Shi Feng's words, Aqua Rose really wished that she could recruit Shi Feng. In just a few moments, Shi Feng had taken away a greater half of the gold coins she had earned after much effort.
Aqua Rose felt extreme frustration in her heart.
However, Aqua Rose suddenly discovered that she truly did not possess anything that could attract Shi Feng to her side. Regarding weapons and equipment, as a forger, Shi Feng did not lack any of these, to begin with. His money-earning capabilities were obvious. As for status, although he was simply a nobody right now, the moment the name of the Black Flame Forger spread, his status would become undeniably grand, earning the respect of others. The only thing remaining was a girlfriend. If Shi Feng did not have one right now, there were plenty of great beauties in Aqua Rose's elite team. Every one of them possessed beauty that could easily move one's heart, and their bodies were all curved in the right places.
Plenty of men often tried to court these women. Aqua Rose would be rich if she could get one of her team's beauties to hook up Shi Feng. However, it would be unquestionably foolish if she asked Shi Feng this question right now. She could only wait until their relationship grew before digging for some hints.
If Shi Feng knew the thoughts Aqua Rose had in her head right now, she would probably frighten him away.
After all, who would have thought that the elegant and cheerful Aqua Rose could be so cunning?
Very quickly, the two of them completed their transaction. Aside from obtaining the 43 golds worth of materials from selling the equipment, Shi Feng also obtained an additional 50 gold coins and over 2 million credits. Just by striving for 3 short days, Shi Feng had instantly multiplied the 10 plus gold he had initially spent by more than 10 folds.
Shi Feng had made a huge profit from this trade.
This time, regarding gold coins, Shi Feng had once again become the richest person in White River City.
Meanwhile, Aqua Rose was also greatly pleased.
With this many weapons and equipment, she could greatly strengthen her own legion and very quickly turn it into the #1 legion in Twilight Echo. At that time, her right to speak would also grow, while those elders would no longer dare speak nonsense in front of her. Master Black Flame, let's schedule next trade for 4 days from now. It just so happens to coincide with the day the Blackwing auction will be held. What do you think? Without realizing it, Aqua Rose treated Shi Feng as a good friend now.
All right. I can also save the number of uses left on the pass. Shi Feng nodded in agreement. He had earned simply too much this time. He also needed quite some time to forge new weapons and equipment. Now that Aqua Rose had yet to obtain additional Blackwing City passes, it was also beneficial to have a time extension. Soon after, the two parted ways. Shi Feng then went to purchase more frost grenades.
This time, he bought a full stack of 200 intermediate frost grenades for 18 gold.
He also bought 5 stacks of 1,000 basic frost grenades for 13 gold, 50 silver. In just a short moment, he had spent 31 gold, 50 silver. However, Shi Feng did not feel any heartache over it, as the money he obtained from Aqua Rose just now was simply the tip of the iceberg. The true iceberg was still within his grasp with the incomparably popular hard stone. To Aqua Rose, whetstones were neither rare nor special. After all, being from the ore country, such items were available in abundance. The number of forgers there was as plentiful as the hairs on an ox, so they were not particularly desperate for such items. However, it was a different story for the Star Moon Kingdom, with the various guilds in the White River City region who were desperately trying to level up. These guilds were in desperate need of hard stones. Yet, it was just too difficult to obtain any. They might even go bald from over-worrying right now.
As for after these guilds entered White River City, Shi Feng did not need to worry that these guilds would suddenly halt their need for whetstones.
Even after everyone entered White River City, the issue of durability would still plague them. It might even become a much more serious issue.
Hence, Shi Feng did not worry in the slightest that he could not sell his hard stones. He merely had to decide at what price he would sell them for. Just as Shi Feng was about to return to White River City, Blackie suddenly sent news. "Brother Feng, this is not good. Right now, all of the guilds within the White River City region are looking for you. They say that if you do not give an explanation on the official forums, all the guilds within the White River City region will add us to the wanted list."
Chapter 188.
After reading Blackie's message, Shi Feng was confused. Why would the guilds within the White River City region suddenly look for trouble with them for no reason?
Moreover, they even wanted an explanation. What did they want him to explain? However, Shi Feng did not pay further attention to this matter. It would be better for him to get the details after he returned to White River City.
Hence, he took out the 7 luminaries crystal, teleporting to White River City.
Level 10 Monster Area, White Sand Ruins.
A 40-man elite team was currently clearing Level 10 desert twin-headed snakes. Every member of the team took action in an organized fashion, and very quickly, the team dispatched all of the tens of desert twin-headed snakes, turning them into an abundance of express.
This elite team belonged to the guild, Martial Union, chased out of Red Leaf Town by Shi Feng.
Meanwhile, the leader of this team none other than Unstable Devastation.
Boss Unstable, the deed is done. I've already told them the conditions, pros, and cons. At that time, we'll share the secret Shi Feng used to reach level 10 quickly. Currently, there are a total of 8 unrated guilds that have agreed to enter our little alliance. An assassin came running, reporting. Good. You've done well. Unstable Devastation laughed with a smirk on his face. He then said confidently, Yi Feng, you're the one courting death. You actually dared ignore my words.
Now, the entire White River City region has discovered the leveling secret you used to reach level 10.
I've also established my own alliance.
Whether you reveal that leveling secret or not, you will be finished. When Shi Feng had utterly rejected him, Unstable Devastation had been sent into a daze for a long time.
He did not think that Shi Feng would act so decisively.
However, since Unstable Devastation could not control Shi Feng through threats, he could only use a more strenuous method to deal with Shi Feng, publicizing the matter about this secret to all of the other guilds. Now that the competition between the various large guilds was so intense, every one of these guilds worked towards swiftly raising their members' levels to level 10.
Meanwhile, Shi Feng possessed a leveling secret that could allow these guilds to achieve such a feat, so these various large guilds would naturally want it.
After all, while the other guilds still worried over the matter of reaching level 10, Shi Feng's entire team was already level 10 and currently developed themselves further in White River City.
Their situations were worlds apart.
Currently, Shi Feng's team occupied all of the resources available in White River City.
With that access, they could increase the gap even further.
By the time the majority of the players in the White River City region entered White River City, Shi Feng's team may already occupy all the high-level resource areas available in the city. How were other players supposed to mingle in White River City then? That was to say, if any guild could obtain Shi Feng's leveling secret, they would become a tyrant in White River City in the future. With such a temptation in sight, who could resist?
Not to mention,
Shi Feng was merely an independent player. He did not have the protection of any major power. God's domain was still not kind enough to allow a weakling exclusive monopoly on treasures. With treasures up for grabs, how could any of these guilds let go of this chance?
They would do whatever they could to snatch it.
As for obtaining the leveling secret through fair trade, it was an impossible notion. After all, the initial criterion for a fair trade was that both parties had to be of equal power.
How could a single independent player possibly equal a large guild?
If Shi Feng did not obediently hand the leveling secret over, there would only be a single ending for him: death. However, even if he handed it over, death would still be the only thing awaiting him. This was the sorrow of weaklings. At this moment, even Unstable Devastation pitied Shi Feng. However, who told this fool to refuse his kind suggestion?
White River City, Trade Area, Bank.
The moment Shi Feng returned to White River City, he immediately emptied all of the forging materials he had on him into the bank. Seeing over 10,000 slots of his warehouse full to the brim, Shi Feng could not help but grow emotional. After all, in his previous life, he did not possess such a rich and spectacular warehouse.
He wondered just how much money he could make if he sold all of these items.
At the very least, it should be enough to serve as his guild's reserve funds. In actuality, Shi Feng's current fame could allow him to establish a guild easily. However,
Shi Feng chose to do it surely, but steadily. He should first deal with the welfare of the guild.
After finishing that, the guild he established would shock the world, and no power out there would be able to touch them.
Even if those third-rate and second-rate guilds wished to suppress his guild, they could not stop his guild's swift development.
After all, his guild would already possess a sturdy foundation and huge funding at that time. A small skirmish would not easily destroy it. After he finished tidying up his warehouse, Shi Feng opened his system message log, taking a look at what was actually going on. Previously, to prevent unstable devastation from disturbing his trade, Shi Feng had set his system communication and messages to prevent strangers from disturbing him. However, he did not think that so much would occur during the time he did so. Compared to when he entered White River City, the messages he now received exceeded 10,000. Independent players had sent a majority of them, while various guilds had sent the minority. After reading a few of these messages, Shi Feng managed to grasp the general gist of what these players wanted. A majority of these players wanted to privately purchase his strategy of quickly reaching to level 10, while a minority of them directly demanded that Shi Feng hand the strategy over.
Naturally, this minority consisted of guild representatives.
Every one of the words in their messages contained force.
Although they did not use threatening words, their intent was unmistakable.
They told Shi Feng to do whatever he saw fit, but he would have to take responsibility for the consequences.
Meanwhile,
the demand for an explanation posted on the forums was also the doing of these guilds.
They were clearly trying to force him into a corner. Fortunately, however, the guilds that had directly suggested that Shi Feng hand over the leveling strategy were all unrated, without a single rated guild among them. Unstable devastation. Shi Feng's brows wrinkled, a chilling battle intent shone in his eyes.
This was a scheme concocted by Unstable Devastation in order to push him down to a hell beyond salvation.
From the experiences in his past life, Shi Feng clearly understood a single matter. A hungry ghost could never devour enough.
Even Shadow is trying to have a part in this?
Shi Feng found a new post on the forums.
It was a declaration of alliance made by Unstable Devastation and several other guilds. They requested Shi Feng to hand over his leveling strategy to satisfy everyone.
Otherwise, they would impose a sanction on him. Meanwhile, Shadow was among the several guilds that had joined this alliance.
Immediately, plenty of people showed their support for Unstable Devastation. They all wanted Shi Feng to hand over his leveling strategy, benefiting everyone.
Shi Feng simply smiled. Did they really take him for someone who could be easily bullied, someone they could mold in the palm of their hands?
If Gentle Snow possessed this leveling secret, these guilds and players would have long since shut their mouths. Rather, they would cheer and sing her praises. Immediately after, Shi Feng created a post on the forums.
Selling the leveling strategy to reach level 10 quickly for 10 billion credits. All insincere buyers will be ignored.
Shi Feng then set aside the official forums, looking at the time.
It was nearing dawn in the real world, so Shi Feng promptly logged off to rest.
However, Shi Feng's post had instantly become popular.
Almost everybody paid attention to it when they saw Shi Feng's asking price of 10 billion.
Those who had previously wanted Shi Feng to publicly disclose the strategy for free now cursed even more fervently. 10 billion credits? Why don't you die instead?
Unstable Devastation and other unknown guilds had all involuntarily cursed the moment they saw Yi Feng's post.
This Yi Feng had simply gone insane for money.
Which fool out there would spend 10 billion credits to buy a garbage strategy?
However, anyone smart enough could easily discern Shi Feng's true intentions. Naturally, these guilds also understood what Shi Feng tried to say. This was Shi Feng's way of indirectly sending them a message, saying, "Want this secret for free?
Dream on."
Without a doubt, Shi Feng declared war with these guilds. Yi Feng, you are digging your own grave.
Unstable Devastation spoke in rage, though his tone carried with it a hint of gloating.
He was furious due to Shi Feng ridiculing him for being poor, while he was happy as there were over 30 guilds who would deal with Shi Feng.
Even if Shi Feng were amazing, he would still be finished the moment these guilds entered White River City.
Unless, of course, Shi Feng could repeat the scene from last time, banishing all of these guilds from White River City. However, was that possible?
1. A hungry ghost could never devour enough, signifying that greed is endless. Chapter 189. Shortly after Shi Feng logged off, the post Shi Feng had left on the forums became instantly popular. 1 view became 10, 10 became 100. Players had strong gossiping hearts, so they would not miss out on this good show. Within a short 20 minutes, almost all players within the White River City region had discovered this matter. The guilds that had demanded the leveling strategy from Shi Feng were all enraged. Crap! Find all of the information about that little bastard for me.
Not only am I going to kill him back to level 0, but I'm also going to kill all his friends back to level 0.
Since he dares humiliate Ghost Wheel, he can forget thinking of mingling in God's domain any longer. Sleeping Bones, the guild leader of Ghost Wheel, was furious after listening to his subordinate's report. Although Ghost Wheel was an unrated guild, they were still a large guild with over 5,000 members. Yet, a lone, independent player looked down on them.
How were they supposed to show their faces in public in the future if they took this lying down?
Leader, I've already investigated him, an elementalist said. Speak. Since he dares look down on Ghost Wheel, I can't retain the name, Sleeping Bones, if I don't kill all of his friends back to level 0.
Sleeping Bones bellowed. That Yi Feng is an independent player, and I've confirmed that he has 8 team members. Aside from them, Yi Feng also has a good relationship with Stabbing Heart, the vice leader of the Assassin's Alliance.
Rumor also has it that he has a very close relationship with the snow goddess, Gentle Snow, as well, that elementalist answered.
Quote.
Sleeping Bones suddenly fell silent. Was this a joke?
If they dared to actually kill Stabbing Heart of Assassin's Alliance and Gentle Snow of Ouroboros, then the day they entered White River City would be the day Ghost Wheel disbanded.
Forget it. I, Sleeping Bones, am a magnanimous person. We'll just stick to killing Yi Feng and his teammates, lest we want other people to start gossiping about us. Roger.
Guild leader is the wisest. At the same time, the other guilds that did not have a clear understanding of Shi Feng began their investigations about him.
They were prepared to properly deal with him the moment they entered White River City. Meanwhile, on the forums, players were currently discussing this incident.
They all felt that White River City's battle of the century was about to begin. This fellow brother Yi Feng simply too awesome.
Isn't he trying to oppose those various guilds?
He is just overestimating himself. Who does he think he is? When these guilds enter White River City, it will take no effort for them to destroy him. What do you know?
Yi Feng is a God-ranked expert.
Previously, he turned Martial Union upside down, while Martial Union could do nothing against him.
They were even chased out of Red Leaf Town. Now, Yi Feng is even facing off against so many strong powers. He is truly my generation's role model.
What's so amazing about that?
I could do it as well.
Don't forget, that incident happened in a town. The various large guilds' strength scattered. How many members could they possibly have in a single town?
It was only natural that they were defeated. There were many players browsing the forums.
However, a majority of them did not feel optimistic about Shi Feng's chances.
They were especially confused about Shi Feng's actions.
Just how stupid could Shi Feng be, to actually dare taunt the guilds?
Was he not afraid of these guilds taking revenge and killing him back to level 0? Along with the growing intensity of the discussions, the so-called God-ranked expert had also become a courageous fool. Many started ridiculing Shi Feng.
Just when the forums reached their zenith, Shi Feng's White River City guidebook post revealed itself the moment the preset time arrived. The post's appearance caused a massive ripple effect. The White River City Guidebook was undeniably what various large guilds needed the most right now. A few level 9 independent players also urgently needed it.
If these players had the White River City Guidebook, they would not have to spend a large amount of time exploring the city.
They only needed to refer to the guidebook to learn what they needed to know. Compared to the heavenly price of 10 billion for a single leveling strategy, using 20,000 credits to purchase a luxury version of the White River City Guidebook was unquestionably a lot cheaper. It was practically the price of cabbage. Also, the cheaper, simplified version only sold for 300 credits. These various guilds and players could easily accept that price. However, afraid of Shi Feng's trickery, a large majority of the guilds chose to purchase the simplified guidebook, taking a look at it before making further decisions. After all, they could afford a loss of 300 credits. As for the players that wished to develop themselves in God's domain, they all grew extremely curious about White River City, a fascinating city. They wished to experience it in advance, so many players had gnashed their teeth as they bought the simplified guidebook. Within half an hour, the simplified version of the White River City Guidebook was like a best-selling novel. Sales of the guidebook continuously increased, and before anyone knew it, over 5,000 copies had already sold.
In other words, Shi Feng had earned 1.5 million credits within this short time. Many players had discovered business opportunities from this. Players who originally worried about whether or not they could make money in God's domain relaxed at this sight. After all, Shi Feng was their best example. As long as they could grasp a hold of the opportunity, becoming rich in a single night was not just a dream. It was just like how Shi Feng became the first person to enter White River City. Immediately, plenty of players outside of the White River City region grew excited. If they too could be the first to enter their own respective cities and write a city guidebook, couldn't they also become rich? This thought inspired desperation in all of the players in God's domain. As if possessed by the devil, they all started rushing to level up. They all wished to become the first person to enter their respective cities, making a huge profit and becoming rich overnight. Meanwhile, in the trade market of the entire Star Moon Kingdom, the popularity of whetstones had instantly soared. As long as a forger had at least a 30% success rate of crafting whetstones, the various large guilds would instantly target them. The guilds used all sorts of methods to recruit these forgers, continuously raising the standard of treatment. As a result, these forgers earned salaries comparable to the white-collar workers in the big cities. Such a result inspired other players to become forgers. However, forging materials were utterly necessary if one wanted to hone their forging skill. Like adding fuel to a fire, this new situation instantly ignited a blazing inferno that raged through all of the Star Moon Kingdom. The prices of forging materials soared, again and again, madly increasing the price of hard stones as well. By the time Shi Feng entered God's domain that night, a stack of 20 hard stones already sold for a sky-high price of 8 silver coins. However, the supply could not keep up with the demand. Furthermore, even the most common bronze ore sold for 15 silver coins per stack, with 200 per stack. Ha ha ha! Luck can't be stopped once it comes. I would never have thought that the White River City Guidebook would so fiercely drive the materials market. Shi Feng rejoiced the moment he logged in. During the day, aside from training his body, Shi Feng had gone to the city center to look for suitable locations to start up his workshop. His requirements were very simple. He wanted a good environment surrounding the office building. After surveying over 10 locations, Shi Feng finally found a relatively pleasing office building. It was located in the city center. Moreover, it was an entire floor being sold. The office floor had a wide space of 5,000 square meters, so it was extremely spacious. There would be no problems turning it into an office for several hundred people. Moreover, the surrounding environment and traffic were convenient. However, the most important factor was that the office was relatively close to Big Dipper,
the best gym in Jinhai City. The owner of the office floor only sold it to make up for issues surfacing with his business.
Otherwise, he would not bear parting with such an amazing location.
However, that person had set a price of 60 million credits for the place, with each square meter priced at 12,000 credits.
Although such a price was not considered expensive in the city center, it was not cheap either. Shi Feng only had somewhere over 20 million credits stored in his bank right now. He still needed that money for the fellowship party hosted by his school. In the end, Shi Feng could only ask the owner for 15 days to think it over. Shi Feng never imagined that he would be given a fright the moment he returned to God's domain. When he saw the sales of the White River City guidebook, he even thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. Chapter 190. Shi Feng had already received attention since the problem of the leveling strategy cropped up. Now that he had priced the leveling strategy at a shockingly high price of 10 billion credits, he was once more pushed into the spotlight. Hence, it was only natural for the White River City guidebook to receive everyone's attention the moment it appeared. These sales had far exceeded Shi Feng's expectations. Shi Feng quietly called up the half-transparent display screen. When he examined the sales records displayed on the official forums, Shi Feng involuntarily revealed a knowing smile. The simplified version of the White River City guidebook sold 25,364 copies. The luxury version of the White River City guidebook sold 367 copies. In only half a day's time, the sales had already reached such numbers. Even a best-selling book could achieve such a feat. The simplified version, which was the cheapest version of the guidebook, already cost 300 credits. This was much more expensive than any ordinary book. However, over 25,000 copies still sold. Moreover, 367 copies of the 20,000 credit version of the guidebook also sold. It was obvious just how great the business opportunities were in God's domain. Just the credits Shi Feng earned within a day exceeded 10 million. It was practically faster than robbing a bank. Of course, the main contributor to such success was Shi Feng becoming too eye-catching and famous, even if most of it was infamy. Moreover, along with the passing of time, the sales of the White River City guidebook would still increase. Although Shi Feng won't be earning as much as he was now, his daily earnings would still be considerable. Originally, Shi Feng estimated his earnings from the guidebooks would be around several million credits. Moreover, he reached this conclusion after taking into consideration that every guild within the White River City region would purchase a copy of the luxury version. However, the conversation records on the forums made it clear that it wasn't just players within the White River City region paying attention to the guidebook. Players and guilds from other cities also purchased the guidebooks, which, in turn, led to such a high selling rate. Although it was a strange situation, Shi Feng could guess the intentions of the players and guilds of other cities. The difference between cities was not particularly large. Mostly, only the quests available, leveling spots, and amount of NPCs were different. However, the main rules in a city and the ways to develop a guild in a city were the same. As long as they bought the White River City guidebook, they would understand the basic rules of their respective cities. They could also quickly adapt to the playstyle in the cities. So, naturally, they would purchase a copy of the guidebook to get a general understanding of their respective cities. Now that Shi Feng had gained over 10 million credits for no good reason, confidence regarding his future filled his heart. He might even be able to suppress Shadow at the fellowship party in a few days, becoming the center of attention during the party. However, before he could become the focal point, he needed to make plenty of preparations. After all, his background was simply too weak compared to Shadow's right now. Hard stones will soar in price from now on. It should reach its peak by the time the first corporation enter White River City. That time would be the best opportunity for me to sell my stock and make a killing. Shi Feng closed the official forums as he thought. Right now, aside from credits, he needed a lot of gold coins to increase his workshop's background. However, he could not just hold on to a ton of gold coins.
After all, the true way of earning money in a virtual reality game was by spending money in the first place.
He currently had far too few coins to carry out such a feat.
Hence, he needed to earn many more gold coins. Right now, becoming enemies with that many unrated guilds had placed quite a pressure on Xi Feng.
Although these guilds were not much of a threat to him as a lone player, he still wanted to establish his own guild in the future.
Such a situation would be detrimental to his guild.
As the saying went, the barefooted did not fear those with shoes. 1.
Establishing your own guild was the equivalent of putting on shoes. Having a guild was the equivalent of having a house, supplying your enemies with an easy target. They could deal with you with greater ease. Hence, in Xi Feng's previous life, plenty of small guilds were forced to disperse due to being targeted by a large guild. On the other hand, the fixed teams formed by independent players got by rather peacefully, and it went without saying that lone players could do so as well. However, there was a limit to the strength of a single individual in God's domain.
It was the same in the case of a large team.
If Xi Feng wanted to establish his own virtual empire, he, even more, was in need of the strength of a guild. Hence, establishing a guild was his only available option.
To reduce the pressure on himself, Xi Feng needed to increase the pressure on these unrated guilds.
That way, they couldn't spare any time to deal with him.
Although there was still a long time until these guilds would search him out, it was wise to take precautions.
Immediately, Xi Feng contacted Stabbing Heart. "Brother Yi Feng, I am truly grateful for your help the last time. Because of your guidebook, the elite teams of our guild could prepare far more than other guilds. After we enter White River City, I believe it won't be long before our Assassins' Alliance reigns supreme over the other guilds in White River City."
Stabbing Heart excitedly said, "However, after not meeting for some time, I never imagined that Brother Yi Feng would grow even more famous. I am truly envious.
If I become as famous as Brother Yi Feng, I might even be promoted to an elder position during the next guild meeting."
"I'd rather be more ordinary." Xi Feng smiled bitterly as he shook his head. The nail that stuck out would be hammered down. Although Xi Feng had long since been prepared for this in his heart, he did not think that the actual situation would be so intense.
"Brother Yi Feng, since you are looking for me, do you need help for something?"
Stabbing Heart asked. Normally, Xi Feng would not take the initiative to contact him unless there was something going on. Of course. Moreover, it is good news for you, Xi Feng laughed.
"Good news?"
Stabbing Heart grew slightly excited.
He had received plenty of praises from the guild leader due to the help he received from Xi Feng the past several times. As a result, his position in Assassin's Alliance had risen by quite a bit. Meanwhile, the matter of the White River City guidebook even earned him the good graces of the guild elders. They had already labeled him as one of the reserve elders of the guild. Such a promotion was rare in the Assassin's Alliance, and it displayed how highly the guild leader and elders thought of him. "Do you lack hard stones right now?" Xi Feng asked. "Lack? My subordinates and I have a headache over this matter right now. Even though I'd set many people out to grind, the amount of hard stones we obtained is merely a drop in the bucket. Does Brother Yi Feng need some hard stones right now?" Stabbing Heart breathed out a tired sigh when he heard the words, "hard stone." He then immediately said, "If Brother Yi Feng needs them, I should be able to gather 3 to 4 stacks for you. I truly can't spare any more than that." Stabbing Heart only spoke the truth. After all, he had prepared these hard stones for the forgers in his guild to craft whetstones. "Brother Stabbing Heart, you're overthinking things. I'm not calling to buy, but to sell," Xi Feng laughed. "Sell?" Stabbing Heart was awe-stricken. Hard stones were extremely rare right now, and it was insanely difficult for average players to obtain them. Not to mention selling them, players would normally choose to keep them for their own use. After all, if one wanted to level up quickly, whetstones were a must. "How many do you have? Be it 2 or 3 stacks, I want all of them."
I'll even buy them at above market price. What do you think about 9 silver coins per stack?
In Stabbing Heart's mind, Shi Feng was only an independent player.
It was already heaven-defying for him to have 2 to 3 stacks.
After all, Stabbing Heart's own team, which consisted of hundreds of players, had only managed to obtain 3 to 4 stacks after a long time.
No. I have 50 stacks.
However, I'm only taking coins for them, Shi Feng casually responded, extended 5 fingers. 1. The barefooted did not fear those with shoes. This is a Chinese saying that refers to a person that has no scruples of doing something, as that person was already not allowed to do so.